guys, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. So, we're in a different setup, and as you might have guessed by the title of this video or my apparel, we're going to be doing kind of like a Q&A. First, I'm going to answer some questions that I've been asked about Oxford and my experience there, just some general stuff, some from you guys, and then some that I just think is general information. And then maybe I'll talk a little bit about like college things. It depends on how long this takes, but while I'm doing all that, I'm going to be making my own boba. So if you know me, I'm actually a horrid cook, but I thought that this Q&A would be a lot more interesting if I am doing something while we're talking. So I've been steeping my black tea right here, and my friend has sent me a like recipe, and I have this like Trader Joe's boba, and we're gonna try to not make a total mess. It would be really great if I could figure this out, because boba is like the one thing I spend money on myself. So this is gonna be like a little bit of a experiment while I answer some questions. So hopefully that's not too confusing, and thanks for tuning in. Let's get right on into it. Okay, I've been given an instant boba kit, and I'm going to read the directions. It seems to be just microwaving, which will actually be pretty easy. I was prepared to make my entire like own boba mixture. We got this, and then I think this is just like, okay, I think this is just the tapioca, and then I have to make the drink. That's what I thought. Brown sugar tapioca pearl drink mix. I mean, that doesn't really help me. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure. So while I get to figuring this out, let us read our first question. I screenshotted some comments of these off my YouTube, and if you'd like to ask anything, I'd recommend commenting down below on this video so I can just keep all the comments in the same place. So my first question is from Barrera Javid, and they asked if I can talk about how's the security girls, like is it safe for girls there? Did I feel safe? So I'm going to talk about that while I figure this out. So basically, I think that it is pretty good. It definitely, for me, was a lot easier because I did this like program with a I did it through a place. So I always had someone keeping track of me. I always had staff in my dorms, stuff like that, which I think wouldn't be all too dissimilar from actually going to college there, because obviously you're going to have like an RA type person, stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty safe. I'd say I did walk home a few times at night from late night events, and I don't think it was that bad, just as long as I had told someone where I was, which for the most part they knew, because I was doing this obviously with my with the program that took me, so they obviously knew if I was going anywhere because they were planning most of the activities. And yeah, I don't think it was that bad. Normally I had like friends around me, or if I was heading out like right before curfew or something, I'd usually text a friend and be like, hey, or if I was, just grabbing water in the kitchen, stuff like that. So I think it was pretty safe. I think just in general, if you're in a big city, it's always nice to like let someone know where you are, especially when I was walking around a lot by myself, but I never really felt uncomfortable. And honestly, in the UK, it just kind of felt like everyone was minding their own business, so I wasn't like too worried about other people coming up to me. Rarely did someone come up to me that I didn't already know, and I never really felt that uncomfortable. So I think it's pretty good. That'd be just my answer. I hope I answered your question. Okay, so now let's do another step of this thing. Okay, so my friend told me I got in this like black tea thing. I need to look at her instructions because I haven't the faintest idea. Okay, so I'm supposed to put this in a cup, and then I'm supposed to use like a couple tablespoons of the coffee mate creamer. Okay, there goes the tea. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, this really is like an adventure. I hope you guys like this. You'll have to let me know if you're on board with this type of content. Tablespoons. Okay. She said like 4. Okay, so while I'm doing this, let's answer the next question. This one is from, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Elfira Yonada on YouTube. I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. And she said, may I know what major you're taking, sis? So I was doing the program that I did it through Putney Student Travel, and it gave me the opportunity to choose a major and a minor for the 2 weeks I was there. So my major while I was there was creative writing, and my minor was journalism, which meant, wow, did you guys see that? Which meant that I was taking creative writing classes every day except the weekends, and journalism classes every other day, and obviously except the weekends, because we had events on the weekends. So that was kind of just how it was while I was there. I don't think Oxford itself actually has a creative writing major. I looked while I was looking at colleges, but when I was there through Putney, I was able to take creative writing and journalism, and that's a program that I'd really recommend. It was very easy to sign up for, and I got my first choice major, so I really appreciated it. I've done the creamer. Now let's see what she said was next. Guys, this is, I'm praying because I am not a good cook. I'm not a good, anything to do with this, honestly. Okay, so then she said 1 to 2 tablespoons fructose. But I think she said I could use, syrup or honey, so I'm going to try to use agave. I think we have agave, so I'll be right back. Got it! Okay, so while I do this, let's answer our next question. This is from just Erin on YouTube. Oh, sorry, you can't see me. Lovely videos. It'd be interesting to get your perspective on how you felt about British culture during your visit. So I'll just answer that first one. This one is a multiple part question, so I'll just kind of read through it as I go. So I think British culture, one thing that was funny that I noticed was that people are very aggressive walkers there. I don't know, literally, if you were walking on the street, you would walk kind of towards people, and people they just don't move, which this is just the most immediate thing I noticed. This isn't the only thing, but you'll be walking and people just don't move. They just keep walking straight ahead, which I thought was kind of funny because you know how in America, when you're walking, or even when you're walking down a school hallway, if you run into something, you guys are kind of just be trying to get out of each other's way. Oh no, no, no! Everyone at Oxford that I noticed just and they would not move. No matter what, they would not get out of my way. So that was one of the first things I noticed, and I didn't necessarily want them to get out of my way. It was just interesting because I literally did nearly bump into several people because I assumed we would dodge each other, but then they just kept walking. So that was just a first impression of British culture. Overall, the program that I took was relatively international. We had students from the US and Taiwan, so it wasn't exactly I was doing this program with British kids. I was doing this program with international kids in England. So, I definitely liked it. I've known I'd always liked British culture. Part of the reason I was so interested in going, and other than the walking thing, there wasn't really anything that stuck out to me. People were pretty nice, and everyone was pretty helpful. It was, I don't think it was anything really different. People were friendly and polite, and the walking thing was just a little learning curve to get used to, so I wouldn't have hit people in the streets. The next part of this question, while I figure out what to do next, is did you enjoy walking everywhere, and did it feel multicultural? Okay, so yes, dang. All right, so I walked an average of 11 miles a day when I was at Oxford, just because I was walking so much, because I was walking from my college to another college and then back, and it was just a bunch of, continuous walking, obviously, and it was a lot, especially because I had lost my bag, so I only had docs. Okay, hold on. I have to figure out this boba thing, and then I'll keep answering the question. Okay, it says microwave it upright in a microwave safe cup. Okay. So, continuing on the walking topic, yeah, it definitely felt very different here. I live in a kind of a small town, and I would say that people walk places, but the amount of sheer walking that was just going on while I was there was a little bit nuts. I had not been used to that, and my legs definitely were feeling it after the first couple days, but yeah, I would say that it gave me a bit of a multicultural experience. I know it's like that all over Europe. When I was in Italy, we were walking everywhere and my legs would always get really tired, so it was definitely a part of the experience there. All right, I've managed to get the thing open, putting it in a cup, and then I'll keep answering this multi-part question while I microwave this. I need to make sure I'm doing this right. It smells good. Smells pretty good. For 45 seconds or until contents are heated through. Okay, so while that is going, I'm sure you can hear it in the background, I'm going to answer the next part of this question, which says, did you have any comparisons impressions on the educational aspects of your visit. So I will say the educational aspects were very like, it wasn't necessarily like, well, it was class, but it was very like, we would go places, we would do things. It felt more like a continuous field trip, which was cool because then you were getting like the city as well as learning about the class. Okay, well, I finished this and it's very like gelatinous. So my friend did say before I put it in to like shake the cup with ice. So I'm gonna go get ice and figure out a way to shake this, hopefully without exploding it all over the kitchen. So like I said, it was more of like an educational field trip vibe, I think. Like it didn't feel like a traditional classroom, but I was still definitely learning, which was, which was an interesting perspective for sure, because, I don't know, like it was just something new. Some of our professors were American, some were like from Oxford, fellows at Oxford. There was a mixture of both. My creative writing teacher personally was an American, but we did still experience a lot of aspects of British culture, like doing our classes and stuff. So I don't think that it felt, it just felt like, I don't know. I hope I answered that question. It's kind of a little bit. This looks like the right color, I think. So now I have to pour the stuff in. Oh dear. Oh. Okay. Okay. This doesn't look half bad to me. It looks pretty good. I mean, for something I made at home, like, hold on. Doesn't that look kind of good? Oh, it's really full. Hold on. Wipe that up. Okay. And then the next part of this question was, did you have any stereotype views of the UK that didn't match your experiences? So I did hear from people that like people in the UK could be kind of mean or like not friendly. I don't know where that stereotype came from. It's not one that I really endorse, but I had just heard that from people, like their culture was maybe a bit more like prickly when it comes to meeting new people, and I definitely don't think that was the case. Like all the coffee shop employees I talked to, all my teachers who are from England were all perfectly friendly, and I don't really think there was much of a difference, and that definitely like disproved that stereotype for me because obviously it was meeting all of them. Okay, so then as a writer, do you have a top 5 British storybooks? Okay, so to be completely honest with you, like obviously people say Harry Potter, whatever, but I don't feel like I could answer this just because I could not actually tell you out of all the books that I read what actually are British. Like I don't really, unless I looked up the author personally, I really couldn't tell you. So I'm sorry, I don't really have an answer for that one. I mean, obviously, like, they're like the classics, but I actually have no idea. Okay, so we got a straw. This is really something for me. Like, you can't really see it, it's below the camera, but wow. Okay, I'm gonna answer the last question and then try this thing. Finally, as a writer, do you think about the titles of your videos and what effect they may have on the views they get? Yes, of course, I always try to title my videos as informative, but also interesting. I don't wanna lie about what's in the video, but I also want to, like, maybe provide some incentive to click on it, like maybe a cool concept, something like that. Okay, so now that I have answered all the questions that I had just about Oxford and in general, thank you guys so much for asking those, by the way. I really appreciate it. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments down below this video. Maybe I could do another video, but honestly, unless you guys want it, then I'll probably just move on to making my other regularly scheduled content. Okay, so to wrap this video up, hi, I hope you can see me. I'm gonna try this concoction. I'm really nervous. I hope it's good. It's really good. Wow. Okay, I'm kind of impressed with myself. Like, it definitely does taste like boba. Like, they will say the bubbles are a lot smaller than the ones that I usually have at the store that I go to. But, okay, I'd give it like 8 out of 10. Definitely successful for a home-cooked, home project. Well, I hope you guys liked this. It's a little random, a little all over the place, but I thought it'd be interesting to do something while I'm answering your guys' questions. So again, thank you all for the questions. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.